Well, Paul and Seth, it's great to have you guys on the show. Super excited to talk about Grandpa Loves Rhinos, which I've been thinking about it. I'm trying to think of how many band names are a complete sentence, and I don't think there are many, but I'm excited to have you guys on, talk about the music, and talk about you guys as well. So welcome to the show.
Thanks for having us. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So first off, you guys are brothers. I mean, you're in a band, which is always kind of a brave venture. It always feels like that either draws everybody closer or makes everybody hate each other one way or another, you know, when it comes to bands in general, much less siblings. But give us just kind of a rough overview, first off, of just kind of how you guys got started as a band.
Me and Paul played music all the way back from, starting in middle school. We had our high school bands. The bands were like, man, we are so good. But in actuality, we're just terrible. And over time, we went through college, and we both joined the Air Force, and naturally getting different jobs or different ages, the Air Force naturally kind of splits you in geography. So out of necessity to keep on playing music with people that you're used to, so if you grow up playing music with, or as brothers rather, you naturally gain kind of the intuition to know how the other person is going to play.
Mm-hmm.
So over time, we realized that it would be helpful and beneficial to continue to play music, even though we're separated. So we thought, hey, let's make a fake but not fake band, a band that we couldn't ever really play in live, but still create music together as multiple people, just over the internet, geographically separated. So that's kind of the overall how we got to where we are today. But many bands over the internet is kind of our lasting kind of what we ended up doing, and that's what we have gotten comfortable with over time.
Okay, gotcha. Now, how long have you guys been making music together as Grandpa Loves Rhinos?
Paul, you go ahead.
Yeah, I think we formed around 2011, 2012.
Okay.
That was kind of when we were away from each other for the first time, and we started making music still.
This feels so backwards. So you guys grew up together, you moved apart, and then you started making music as the band that has actually had some longevity.
Yeah, and it's been great. Like, I feel like just over time, our skills and Seth's music writing and his recording skills have grown, and we've been able to mature our sound. And really, this Grandpa Loves Rhinos is kind of what has been going forward, and we've got the most success out of so far, and it's really fun.
Nice. Now, here's the more pressing question at this point. So you guys have been making this long distance via the internet and the magic therein, and it's worked out well. You guys have created some great music thus far, and you're both in the Air Force, so that's kind of what has split you guys apart. And you guys are still both in the Air Force at this point, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Just making sure. So when you guys are eventually done with the Air Force and could then, at least in theory, be in the same city limits, do you think that will still continue, or will the magic be gone at that point?
That's a great question. Go ahead.
I mean, I think the magic will be there. I mean, I think we have a good understanding of how each other like to play, and but yeah, I don't know what's going to happen after we get out of the Air Force, and it feels like a long ways away.
Yeah, I think what would happen is I think the magic will still be there, but I think the speed at which we make songs would drastically increase. Like, it'll go much faster, because right now it's just ping-ponging back and forth with ideas, and that just takes time. If you can sit in the same room, everything just goes much faster, at least in my mind. Who knows? Maybe we show up and we just argue over everything since we're face to face, and we can see the sarcasm on someone else's face instead of reading it through a text or something like that. I don't know.
Right. The internet and buffer delay of everything will then be gone.
Yeah. Yes. I mean, there's sometimes when Paul will make a suggestion and I'm like, gosh, I spent so much time on that. That's the opposite of what I just did. I guess. And then after a while, it's like, okay, I'll try it. I try and go like, oh man, dang it, he was right. Gosh.
That's the worst, isn't it?
Right there, with a simulation, I'd be like, no, I'm not doing that. No. So who knows? It's a gamble.
Right.
I'm not sure.
Right. So now, for people who don't know, I mean, is Grandpa Loves Rhinos at this point just the two of you?
Yes. Yep. It's so Paul plays the drums, and I do all the other instruments and mix it and record it. I just have an apartment and I have a whole bunch of recording stuff, and we send ideas back and forth. We just make it all just between ourselves.
Nice. Now, has it always been that way?
As far as Grandpa Loves Rhino goes, yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Go ahead, Paul.
Cool.
That's what I was gonna say. Yeah.
Nice.
Oh, yeah. So the process is I'll make a little guitar part, sounds like garbage, and on purpose, just so it's as fast as possible.
Right.
I'll send it to Paul. Paul will make some drums. He'll send it back to me, and then I'll kind of overlay the finalized part on it, and then kind of overlay everything. And at the end, I'll make the lyrics and words and record that, and then call it good.
Okay.
And then Paul will inject kind of what he thinks needs to be changed, primarily on the drums, because that's his specialty. And then we bottle it all up, put a ribbon on it, and then call it good.
Nice. I dare say that this is, at least from my limited knowledge of these things, is got to be a little unusual. For one, and once again, this is just me doing broad stereotypes. I don't necessarily think of the average person in the armed forces as necessarily being a artistic-minded individual, and that's not no shade intended. I mean, I just don't think of many guys in the Army or the Air Force playing in bands, much less going through the effort of, say, making a band that is long distance.
You know what? You might be right there. I can't really see many holes in your argument. I will say that I've been in 2 fighter squadrons so far, and the first one, I swear, like half the people that I work with play guitar.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know if it's just natural to a fighter squadron, but there's a lot of people that they just have hobbies that they usually just kind of keep to themselves. But in the background, they're just whittling away on a little guitar or something.
Nice.
In the grand scheme, you might be right there. I don't know. What, Paul? What have you seen?
I guess I would agree with Paul that, I mean, a lot of, like, I work with space nerds, so very technical, very science savvy, and
keyboard players.
I'd say, yeah.
Guitar players, either guitar or maybe accordion, probably.
I mean, I don't want to sound like I'm making fun of. I'm a space nerd too, so I'm not making fun of nerds.
So, well, with that being in mind, is there any possibility that you guys will ever? I've totally forgotten the name of the actual band. Are you guys ever going to do a cover song of the band that's got the guys from The Big Bang Theory in it? You know who I'm talking about. Have you seen this?
Oh, is it's like the intro song to The Big Bang Theory, or are you talking about a different song?
Oh no, the characters in the show within the confines of the storyline have a band.
Oh yeah, I can't remember the name.
I don't think I've seen that episode, so I couldn't tell you. But if is it catchy? Does it have a sweet hook? If it's got a sweet hook, maybe we can try something.
Well, I'm sure that is open to interpretation, but I venture not say.
All right. We'll leave that one open. We'll revisit it later. We'll keep that one open.
Yeah, just because you said space nerds. I mean, that's the only reason.
Yeah.
But that's all good. I mean, the world needs space nerds too. So I'm all about that. I'm all about that. I see now. I can't identify with either one of you, despite the fact that Paul, you and I share a first name. Mainly just because I hate heights. I my first plane trip was on my honeymoon, and I was not a fan of the idea. Once I got on the plane and got up in the air, I was okay, but still, turbulence not my favorite thing.
That's it's funny you mention that, because I fly fighters, and I'm actually afraid of heights too. Like when I first started flying, the scariest part was climbing the ladder to get up in the jet. Like you're standing up there, like you're putting your harness on, like you kind of shake a little bit. I mean, after a while, it's just like swimming or anything really.
Right.
First you're uncomfortable, and then you get comfortable with it. But there's a lot of other people that I fly with that I know are afraid of heights. It's just different. You're sitting down. It's like a video game. You forget about how high you are because you have to focus on other things. Like I visited the Space Needle in Seattle a couple years ago, and I just hugged the inner wall the whole time. I was not comfortable at all.
Oh, and they're redoing it. It's going to have a glass floor now.
No, you know what? No, not going back to Space Needle. I was just hugging the inner wall because I maybe it's just trust. I think it's trust as well. Like if you know the plane, you know the jet, you can trust it. The building. I don't know who made that building. I have no clue who made that Space Needle. I don't trust it.
Also didn't like the fact that in the little story that I heard that was talking about them redoing it was the fact that when they did it, they were also in a huge hurry, and the amount that they're spending to renovate it is like 10 times what it costs to build the whole thing. I'm like, yep, I'm out.
Yeah. I wish I didn't even know that, because
Right.
now I regret it going to the top.
Yeah. I no. Yeah. I just can't do it. Just can't do it. Well, since we've danced around this one enough to this point, and some people may already know this, but explain the band name Grandpa Loves Rhinos.
Yeah, yeah, I'll like to do that. So yeah, Grandpa Loves Rhinos. It's pretty simple actually. I mean, it's kind of an odd name. It came from our grandpa nicknamed Raw Hyde. We called him. He actually died in 2012.
Okay.
Around the same time we were making the band, so it seemed fitting to remember him in that way. And he just had a thing about rhinos. You know, people gave him tons of collectibles as gifts and stuff. So he had a whole room in his house that was just full of these collectible rhinos. He owned land that we called the Rhino Ranch that the family went camping in the summer. So it's just kind of a family thing for the Hyde family. And it just means a lot to us. Grandpa Loves Rhinos is connecting me and Seth, and it's just kind of one of those kind of weird names that stands out as well. So that helps, I guess, for people to check out the band.
Nice. And for those who are listening who have not checked out y'all's Facebook yet, I love the new kind of like fighter G.I. Joe figure that is the new logo. I want that on a shirt now.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. That was a rendition of the Ace McCloud from the old Centurions cartoon.
Okay.
Yeah, that I
think he's talking about the picture of the two GI Joes, and like one's got like a leather jacket. Is that what you're talking about? Like
no,
literally
I'm talking about the one that's like flying, that's got like all the whole arsenal on him and everything.
Right. Paul was right.
Yeah.
Explain, Paul.
Yeah, that thing is awesome. I so want that in an action figure. I mean, that is just that is bad to the bone.
Yeah, so there was two guys that one guy sketched it and one guy colored it. So it's fan art, so we can't really sell it, but it's I thought it was kind of a really cool logo, and I asked them if we could use it, and they said they were fine with it.
Cool. Well, hey, ask them if you can slap it on a hat.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's cool stuff though. Either way, that's nice, man. I like that. Cool. So
thanks.
now with you guys doing so much apart, and this is kind of, I guess, tangential to the whole music thing, but how often do you guys get to actually hang out in person, if ever, at this point?
It's hit or miss. Like I feel like it's almost every other year, which feels way too long to wait. But it seems like there's always, with the Air Force, we move every 3 to 4 years. So when we're moving, we usually can connect, or if we all go back to Idaho from where we're from at the same time, during Christmas or summer or something, we can usually tag up.
Okay, cool. Sweet deal. I like that. That's awesome. Now, let's talk about the song that we're currently spinning from you guys called What We Used to Do.
Yeah. So we've been in the process of making quite a few songs. So we're hoping to spit out 5 total by probably the end of July or so of this year. And this is one of them that we finished first. In general, it's about remembering good times and realizing that you've lost something that you otherwise used to have. So it's mainly about our dad, who passed away in 2001 from amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, also called Lou Gehrig's disease. The first verse mentions an actual time that I remember as a kid when we were living in New Mexico. My brother was in hockey practice, and my dad took me to go watch the Great Balloon Festival. I don't know what the official term is, but New Mexico has those hot air balloon festivals, and we just went and sat in a gravel parking lot and by a gas station and just watched. And at the end of the verse there, you wake up and realize like that's not a thing anymore since he's passed away. The second verse talks about various things that I remember from just growing up, and realizing again that these various different things, as if a dream, are just gone. Thinking about also what could have been, like if he was still here now. Realizing that for people that have lost someone, you don't just think about the things that you remember from when they were here, but you imagine like all the advice, all the experiences that you don't have as you grow older that you could have asked them or wish you would ask them, but can't. So it's kind of a sad song, but just mainly in remembrance is kind of the underlying theme of it.
Cool. Cool. That's fantastic. Well, I love the song, and it's funny because when Brandon from Indie Vision was first sending me some stuff from you guys, and then also from some of the other bands he had signed.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of them kind of fall into, and this is not a bad thing at all, but a lot of them fall into kind of a similar lane. And then I heard yours, and I was like, "This is really fun. I like this, and it's different from the other ones." And once again, I've liked pretty much everything that they've put out thus far. But when this one came across, I was like, "This is cool. I want them to do more."
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah.
That means a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So now let's talk about, it looks like we may get to play a new song from you guys that hasn't technically been released yet. You want to tell us a little bit about that one?
Close friends, a family of mine that have listened to it. They go, I kind of like it, but there's some parts that I don't know if I like it or not. So I'll let you guys be the judge of that. For me personally, it was one of my favorite songs to make, and I like listening to it. I hope other people do. But overall, it's a weird one. It's weird, but enjoy it.
Nice. I'm all about weird but enjoyable. That's fantastic. Awesome. We talked a little bit about the idea earlier of, you know, you guys eventually are done with the Air Force for whatever reason, and maybe you guys end up in the same place again, and what would that mean for the future? One thing that we didn't talk about with that is if the distance wasn't an option, would you guys ever want to play live shows? And I know that doesn't necessarily mean like playing 200 dates a year across the country, but would you guys want to play live gigs at some point?
Yeah, if, I can't speak for Paul, but yeah, I would. If we had some buddies or some friends that could learn our stuff and fill out the rest of the parts, and if there was interest, we'd totally be down to do that. Paul, what do you think?
Yeah, I'd be down in a heartbeat. I mean, I love playing drums and playing music. I would definitely make it a priority to make it happen, you know, with all the other things in life like family and work and stuff. But yeah, definitely.
Nice. Very cool. Very cool. Other than that, I mean, what do you see the future of the band, you know, just from where you're at now, knowing that, you know, anything can change at any moment, but what do you guys hope for the band's future at this point?
Well, the immediate goal, the Near Rocks, is pumping out this EP by the end of the summer. Seeing what kind of affinity or what kind of hold that grabs, and honestly, for me, if no one likes it, that's fine. Like it's like Legos. It's really like Legos. The fun part about Legos is not playing with the Legos once you've built it. It's about building the Legos. So the way I see the band going is, if we make this EP, we put it out there. If no one likes it, that's cool. What we're going to do is we're probably just going to make another one. It's going to be a great time, and we're just going to make music that we like and that we make words with, that we care about, and just keep on making music. Just keep on keeping on, as Jim Dirt once said.
I couldn't have said it better myself.
Nice. Very cool. Well, is there anything else that you guys want to add before I have one question that I always like to end with. It's a little bit different from the rest of them, but just for you guys, before we get to that, is there anything else that you want to get out there to make sure people know?
No, just be looking out for the EP. I mean, you can go on Facebook and just keep up to date on what's going on with us. I just also wanted to kind of do a shout out to Brandon at Indie Vision Music, all the support that he's given us, and kind of all these new opportunities. And I would encourage people to go, you know, check out Indie Vision Music. We got a lot of good stuff and a lot of things to offer.
Sweet, cool. Well, the last question that I always like to end with, I think, is kind of fun because it gives kind of people a different maybe perspective on you guys than they might have otherwise. You guys both are obviously in the armed forces. You're in a band. You know, you guys may be non-traditional as far as the band is concerned, but that's okay. Despite all that, for each one of you, what do you think is the most un-rock and roll thing about you?
The most un-rock and roll thing about me is that I sleep with socks on every single night.
Nice.
That is so weird.
Okay, so now is there a specific reason, or is it just comfortable?
Oh, I got multiple reasons. Let me start it out. All right, so number one, your feet will get cold regardless of the temperature of the room. So you need socks to keep them warm. Second, and actually arguably most important, is the itchiness. Like if you don't wear socks, at least for me, like there's just like when the blanket touches your feet, then it doesn't, then it does. There's the sheet, there's the blanket, there's all these different textures on your feet. Just put some socks on and eliminates all those. So it's a practical and fashion decision as well. So there's my third reason. Three solid reasons to wear socks to bed. That's the most unrock and roll thing, but it is one of the best decisions I've made in my recent life here.
Okay. All right. I have no response to that, but that's good.
All right. Paul, what do you got?
I guess I have a few things, I guess. One is I've got a pretty decent collection of board games, about 150 or so.
Wow.
That I have. And also, we own chickens now. Me and my family, we own some chickens that we are, yeah, it's fun.
Cool.
That's all I got.
What's the board game du jour at the moment?
So I don't know. There's the new Fireball Island that just came out on Kickstarter that was funded. So I was a part of that to get that new game that they redid from the old 1980s Fireball Island game.
Okay.
Just kind of a lot of the weird games that aren't the normal, like not like Monopoly or Sorry or anything like that. Like kind of along the lines of the Ticket to Ride and Settlers of Catan and Pandemic and some of those games.
Okay. Nice.
No one knows what Fireball Island is. I had no idea it was even a 1980s board game.
Oh, it's awesome.
Was it a 1980s board game or?
Yeah.
You should clearly, I should have known. Clearly. Why did I not know about Fireball Island?
Yeah, Tornado Rex is another really good one that I have. That's that one's the original that I got. That one's great. The kids love it.
Nice.
I have played Tornado Rex. Tornado Rex is pretty good. Yeah, that is a pretty good game.
Well, I will ask you, since you mentioned that you're a board game aficionado, does that include games that are mainly card based?
I do like some card games. I try to stay. I like the board games better. I don't know. It's just me.
Okay. Well, the only reason I ask is because, and I don't think there's any chance he's listening to this, so I'm going to take a chance
Sure.
on outing myself on this. So I was in a friend's wedding, and he gave me a groomsman gift, which I was pretty excited about. And
Nice.
then I was like, okay, cool. It's like, you got a gift. I didn't expect that, but great. And he bought me a game called Bang. That is the Walking Dead version, and it's somewhere in my storage unit because we've moved since then. And I've never played it, but he swears it's awesome. But I haven't taken him up on actually trying it out yet.
Yeah, no, I have Bang, but it's the dice game, so I think it plays a little differently. But I definitely would recommend Bang. It's a good one.
Okay, cool. All right, well, I have some newly discovered motivation there, so hopefully that'll work out. I can find it at some point and actually give it a shot. Cool. All right, well, guys, this has been great. I've thoroughly enjoyed getting to know you, and you guys are most definitely not the norm in so many ways, but I think that's fun and refreshing because heaven knows there have been plenty of we met in high school, played in a garage, and now we're here stories. So it's kind of cool that you guys have a little bit of a different narrative to all this, and I think that's a lot of fun. But hopefully one day you guys will get to be in the same garage, and then maybe you guys can speed things up. But until then, we'll anxiously await each song, and hope you guys do some great things.
Thanks so much. Sounds great.
Cool.
Yeah, this has been